Hey there, everybody. So Montreal Canadiens have 25 games remaining in the season. They need to get to 90, basically they need to get to 99 points. It might be as low as 97 points, but they need to get to 99 points to ensure themselves a playoff spot. And in order to do that, they need to win 18 of those 25 games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the schedule. I'm going to try to find the games that they're in danger of losing and the games where they can find the wins. And that's all right here at Talking Habs, the home of Habs hockey, where everything is dedicated to the Habs and all things hockey. So if you're a Habs fan and you want to see more Habs videos on a daily basis, subscribe and ring the notification bell. That's down there. And that's going to get you your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge right here from Talking Habs. While you're on the way down there, if you like the video, give a thumbs up. And also in the comment section, which is also down there, let me know what you think about these games. If you think I'm correct, if you think there's different games, let me know what you think in the comment section. I do read all my comments. And yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to get the board and we'll get right to it. All right. So what you got here is all the games. So yeah, where am I? You got February, March, April. I've got the verses, the ats. The circled ones are all the divisional games. So those are basically the games that they need to win. You don't really want to lose any to your divisional rivals, but of course there's going to be some in there that they probably won't win. And then you have the games. The question marks are the games where I'm not sure of. I'm not sure of any of them really, but where I don't know, it can go either way in my mind. And then you got the wins in blue, the losses in red, and let's get to it. Oh, the wins in green are the ones that I think are the surest of the wins, and I'll explain myself. Okay, so I'm filming this on the 9th of February, so tomorrow. Although you might be seeing it the day of, we're playing Arizona at home. Arizona is a team that is on the downswing. They're not playing very well right now, and I think this is a chance for Montreal to start off the search for the 18 wins with a victory here. They're at home. They're playing really well as of late, and Arizona's playing not well, to put it lightly. So I think that's the first win right there. The next in 2 days we're playing Boston in Boston. I'm putting it down as a loss because I think that Boston's playing really well right now. They're right near the top of the league. They would like to keep that position. They'd like to get the President's Trophy if possible, I'm sure, so they're making their run for it. And I think it's going to be a tough game for Montreal to win. If there's going to be a loss, you can kind of understand it there. And so I've got that down for a loss. On the 14th, on Friday, they're playing Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. I have it as a win because Montreal is going to be desperate. They're going to have to win. Pittsburgh is pretty solidly in the playoffs. They're they've got injury problems and all those things, and I just think Montreal got to win, and they're going to win there. On the 15th, it's back-to-back games. They come back home to play Dallas. The last time they played Dallas, I think it was in Dallas, and they lost. An ugly game, too. It was a really ugly loss, and I think it's the time for a revenge here. They need the win. They're at home, and yeah. I don't know if I said they were at home against Pittsburgh, but they're not. They're in Pittsburgh. Doesn't matter. They play better on the road. Just to go back to that game, so that's why I've got the win there. So now the Dallas is the revenge game. They're at home. I think they're going to win there. Next up, they're in Detroit. I've marked that as a trap game because Detroit is bottom of the league. Montreal is playing really well right now. If they follow along this, they're going to have 3 wins and 1 loss in their last 4 games, according to this here. And I think it's they haven't beaten Detroit, or they've lost 3 times already to Detroit. I just think this is a place where you can see a loss and you can say, well, that's it. They got swept by Detroit for the season, and those things happen sometimes, and you just got to write that off. The next step on the 20th, they're in Washington. This is going to be a very tough game for Montreal. Washington also wants to win all their games, obviously. They're in a fight to win their division, I believe. And I just don't see a good outcome here. Ovi's probably going to score a ton. I just don't see a good outcome here. I think that's going to be a loss. On the 22nd, they're in Ottawa. That's a bit of a trap game. Ottawa, again, a bottom feeder. But I don't think it's going to be an effect for Montreal. They're going to need this win, maybe coming off of 2 losses, and I think they're going to beat Ottawa. It's also divisional rivals, so you've got to beat them. I believe they're in the same division. If I've got that wrong, I apologize. The 25th, Vancouver is in town. I think they win here. No particular reason other than they're going to need the win to keep up their pace. Vancouver is a bit on the downswing right now. Hopefully that can continue till that game and we win. 27th, they are at home to the Rangers. I believe they'll win. Rangers are not playing very well right now. They've got a lot of goalie issues. I think they're playing 3 goalies right now, and their goalies aren't very happy with that. So I hope that continues till the game here, and we win. 29th, home to Carolina. I have that down as a loss because it seems like Carolina, again, one of those teams where we have this rivalry because of that Aho offer sheet and the fans getting on each other, and it seems to have created a rivalry that Montreal doesn't necessarily have the upper hand on. I think that's one of the places there's a loss. We move into March. March, we start off on the 3rd against the Islanders on the road. I have that down with a question mark because they're on the road. They're against the Islanders. I think they can win, but it's going to be one of those games that's going to keep me on the edge of my seat. They could get it to the game and totally dominate. I get that, but I got it as a question mark because I'm not sure here. The 2 nights later, they are in Tampa Bay. Tampa is playing awesomely well. I think they got too much firepower, too much size, great goaltending. I think that's a loss here. Being on the road, being against Tampa Bay, I think it's a loss. Next, they're 2 nights later, they're in Florida. I have that as a question mark as well because it's on the road. Florida will be in a fight at the same time, just like Montreal, to make the playoffs. And it's a game that worries me. So I don't know. I hope it'll be a win because they're going to need that one to be a win. All the losses, they can only afford 7 losses. And if you see on the board, there's 7 red L's already. So these question mark games, they need to win, but I think these are ones that are going to be maybe the problems. On the 10th of March, they're at home to Nashville. I think it's a win. On the 12th of March, they are at home to Buffalo, a divisional rival. Buffalo not playing very well, frustrated, lack of success. Skinner not playing well. Eichel's frustrated like crazy. I just think it's going to be a win for Montreal. On the 15th and 17th and 19th, they take that dreaded West Coast swing to California. Now, Anaheim and LA are playing horrible. They're not good teams. Those could be trap games. That's why I put trap there. But I think Montreal wins here against the Ducks and against the Kings because their road game is pretty good. And they're going to be needing these wins. I just think those 2 teams are very vulnerable. Then we get to San Jose on the 19th. They don't do well in San Jose, typically. So being that this is not a good game for them, San Jose, whether San Jose is playing well or not, I'm marking this down as a loss because I just don't like their chances there. 2 nights later, they are in Colorado. Colorado, pretty strong team. I have it down as a loss because of Colorado's just a better team than we are. They've got a lot of firepower. They've got a good defense, and they've got pretty good goaltending. Being on the road against a team like that, I just have it as a loss. 24th, 3 nights later, they're back home against Buffalo for the second time in less than a week. And I think they just continue to beat Buffalo. 26th, they are at home against Florida. If they happen to have lost that game the week before in Florida, they're going to win here. And I think either way, they're going to win here. 28th, they are at home against the Islanders, and because they are at home, I think it's a win here. It's the last fourth to last game of this season. Montreal's gonna need to make a push. If they're still in it, here they're gonna have to win. On the 31st, they are in Chicago. That one kind of worries me because the last game against Chicago was here and they lost, a game they probably should have won. So I'm just worried that that could happen again. They're going to need to win, but I'm worried about it. On the bottom, we're in April, last two games. Nashville, I've got a question mark for Nashville for the last two games, actually. Um, it's in Nashville. That's what worries me. I don't know what Nashville's position will be there. If they're kind of out of it, then I see a win here. Montreal needs to win either way. Last game of the season, they are in Toronto. Um, we have beaten Toronto 3 games this season so far. The last game was a tight game until the last period, which was still tight, but I mean, Toronto couldn't get a shot on net. The only one shot they got did go in the net, but they only got the one. Toronto's having trouble closing out. I kind of think Toronto's one of those teams that falls right out of the race. By this time, they should be out of it. If that's the case, I think Montreal wins here, maybe even easily. But either way, it's against Toronto, in Toronto, and it could be for Montreal could need to win the game to get into the playoffs. Toronto could need the game to win. Both of them could. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but Montreal's going to win it. Just because it's Toronto, Montreal's going to win that game. So there you go. If we get all the W's and all the question marks, there's 18 games. If it goes the way I've got it here, that's 18 wins, 7 losses. It won't happen. It won't go exactly like that. A couple of the losses will be wins, and a couple of the wins will be losses. I just hope it adds up to 18 and 7. So I don't know if you guys think that I'm wrong. If anywhere you think I'm wrong, I'd love to know where you think you will find the wins, where you think the losses will come. Leave your ideas in the comment section. So there's still a bit of ways to go with 25 games. It's definitely not going to be a guarantee anywhere. And Montreal's in for an uphill climb still. They've made a hell of a lot of progress. If you take that 18 and 7 and the fact that they've gone 9 and 3 in their last 12 games, so add those together, that at a point where they needed to go 27 and 10, and it seemed impossible, and it really did. It seemed impossible. Well, you know what? They're right on pace. They've gone 9 and 3, exactly how they needed to perform, and the chance is still there. So let's hope we can find those 18 wins. Those 18 wins turn out. Montreal can make the playoffs. Will they do much damage in the playoffs? More than likely not. But the fact that they can make the playoffs and fight through the kind of season that they had with the injuries, with the losing streaks, with everything that went on, with the flu, with just everything, if they can still manage to make the playoffs, that's just going forward for the young guys, for the veterans, and going for next year with a better chance if they do make the playoffs. It can only help. The experience of making the playoffs, of fighting through a playoff run, fighting against the odds that are against you, against the obstacles that are against you. If they can manage to get through that, it can only be really good for the future for guys like Nick Suzuki, who are the young guys, even a Max Domi, even Yoel Armia, all those guys. The experience of doing that is immense. Nick Suzuki kind of knows what it's like because he did that last year to win the championship in the OHL. I mean, he fought they were behind every single game. They had almost every single game. They had to come back time and time and time again to accomplish what they did. And Montreal has to do that this year. So instead of babbling a little bit more, that's the video. Hopefully I found the 18 games, and it all works out magically, and I look like a genius. So if you like the video, please give a thumbs up. And while you're on the way down there to do that, subscribe and ring the notifications bell, or subscribe and ring the notifications bell and then give a thumbs up, and that works for me. And that'll get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talking Habs. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it all works out the way I kind of have it planned out, and we'd all be happy. So thanks for watching once again, and peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.